Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And one, because I forgot about it, and two, I forgot about it because I didn't really think there were going to be a lot of teams that could do it. We are getting to Inferno 1 fairly late in the meta. We still have 9 days until the meta changes over, so, I mean, we have over a week. But normally I get Inferno 1 out like a week ago or something. But this is for the bingo mission for the Union board to get that 5-star ticket over here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Clear Inferno 1, right here. You gotta get that. I gotta do these ones still to get that EX 10% ticket. And Inferno 1 is not a joke. I want to tell you right now, if you're watching this video and you started this month, and you don't have the entire team or a lot of substitute units, I got really bad news for you. It's not going to work. You need... Inferno is endgame content. It is meant to be endgame content. It is tailored to you having the new team every month, or having very good alternative support units to get the job done. And if that does not sound remotely like you, you are not going to have a good time here. Because EX2 difficulty Milim has 4 million and change health. Inferno 1 has 64 million damage. And so if you've ever watched one of the showcase videos and you're like, oh my god, he did 10 million, how the hell am I going to do that? There's no way on God's green earth that you're going to do 64 million. And that's just straight up. It is just a very power-crept version of Beatdown Battle from the devs. They do this every month, do not be surprised. And it nerfs everything else into the ground. Greens are nerfed. Oranges are nerfed. She's got stun evasion for 7 turns again. She seals body and spirit skill. She's got synergy and crit resistance, so you have to pierce or Aegis. Lord's Ambition, reverse stats, heals herself if you don't kill her fast enough, and then gives herself a protection seal, and then continues to nerf greens and oranges. So you need to have a very specific team build to go into this. So the teams I'm going to show you today are, 1, gonna be extra buffed by this barrier stone, which I think is alt damage, so please keep that in mind. We're doing a little bit extra damage than what we normally would. And 2, it's gonna need some gear, it's gonna need some support units, it's gonna need some traits, and yeah, good luck. Also, this video could take a while because it's a stacking stage and these teams take forever, so we might do some hyperspeed on some teams or some very abbreviated runs. But, you know, if you're still here, because this is a video you wanted, then let's get to it. Alright, the first team is going to be a half-meta team, because if you have the full meta, it should be fairly doable, depending on your gear state. So we're not even going to bother bringing Jaune or Rimuru. We're just going to go with the first banner units, and then older characters after that. So we've got the hero, we've got Earth Elmisia. Gonna do the 100% alt resistance down. Her alt buff is already covered by Leon, so we don't really need that. And plus, it would only hit her and Leon because it only hits Earth and Fire units. But we got the alt resistance down. And we have an Earth character who can kind of help with damage. Blanc, big time damage support. Free to play Ritus, so we could swap the Elmisia and Leon alts away and orb change. And then Leon for nuking, Velzard for the support, and the stun, and the weakness strike for Leon, and yeah. So, turn 1, we're going to go at 50% extra speed. So, turn 1, we will bring in Leon, we'll bring in Velzard. They've got protection traits underneath them for support slots, so that'll give us a double stack on turn 2. We are running the skill point on Blue Charm. Skill points, because even though we are a blue stacking team and we get extra skill points for blue orbs, we're going to need more, because I want to ensure that we can stun every turn that we can after turn 8. Because with this team, it's not as powerful as other teams are, because we're bringing a free-to-play character, which takes up another support slot for like a big-time damage unit. So we're going to need a few extra turns of stun strike, of stacking, and just to build up. And so we want to keep Milim stunned after 8 turns. So the entire point of turn 1 through 8 is to get the EX alt. We don't have Jaune, so we don't have that alt or blue gauge increase skill that she's got. So every time you send an alt here, it's going to be a detriment, which means that you're getting less points and less protection gauge, which won't be as bad if we've got extra skill points from the charm effect. So like right here, it's turn 3. We have 2 ults. We can swap them away, one of them. But I'm just not going to waste any points here. We're going to get his ult back. So we're just going to send it and just get it out of our hand and not worry about making skills more expensive than they need to be. So I apologize if this is going a bit too fast for you, but if I wanted to keep this video at a reasonable length of time, we're going to need to speed things up a bit. But just know that for the first 8 turns, you need to stack. You need to send nothing but blue orbs, maybe some ults here and there, but blue orbs. Get as many stacks as the masked hero as possible. Try and get as many Velzard ults as you can, because her stacking weakness strike from her ult effect will help Leon do more and more damage. If you want to try and rush the Almizia ult, you certainly can. She will get the stacks from the hero, and she'll get the ult rush as well. So that can help, but she's an AoE character. She's going to get the same buffs that we would get anyways off the team. It's just that she's not on Spirit Master, so she's not getting that 100% extra damage from the masked hero. So she'll be a sub-DPS character. That's an AoE. And then Velzard doesn't really do damage on her ult. I mean, when she has the full buffs, she can do damage, but it's not going to be what Leon does. So as long as you can get decent hands and decent orbs, then you're going to be okay. Around turn 6, this is where I'm going to start using the ult swap ability for Leon, so we can retain his ult, and that way, by like turn 8 or turn 9, I have enough points to blow everything. Okay, no, we sent it anyways, never mind. We're going to go a little bit further. Sorry, that I think was a previous run where I started doing it now. This is not a turn 8 team, by the way. This is like a turn 10, turn 11 team, because I'm not sure if Leon can do enough damage. Because on previous runs, he didn't do enough damage. He didn't do enough damage in 8 turns, just straight up. You are not nuking on turn 8 with this team. So you better just make peace with that fact. But here, we got a full hand of Redis almost. Let's bring Almizia in. We can start rushing her ult a little bit. It won't get there as fast, but it should still work. So every Velzard ult we're sending is stacking Weakness Strike for Leon. That works out fairly well. And now with the ult effect, we'll have 2 ults, both Almizia and Leon, which means we can take Velzard away, and we can start stunning, because we are on turn 8 now. So, stun. We've already put some stun stacks on our characters already, which is why her skill costs 65 points to start with. But now she's stunned. Now we can stun lock her, so if you need to, you can keep going forever, as long as you have the points to stun and convert and continue to stack. And if you don't want to nuke on turn 10 or turn 11 because you know it's not going to work, and you want to nuke on turn 15, then as long as you have the points, you can. You just got to make sure you actually do nuke. And when you do nuke, it's not, it's a killing blow. So, now we have the 2 EX ults. We're looking good. We're going to buff both of them with Blanc early, and then we'll send both of them away. We'll send Almizia out first. We'll use Leon's convert, and then we'll have Redis come in, and hopefully you can convert with her, which thankfully here we can. And we don't even have to ult swap. We just have to stun and use the other orb change. And again, keeping her stun locked is important, while allowing us to get more stacks of the masked hero, which will help us do more damage on the nuke. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excellent. Turn 10 comes around, and we've got another good hand where we just have to stun an orb change, and then it gets us another Velzard ult, which is more Weakness Strike for Leon, 2 more stacks of the masked hero, and then I think we nuke on turn 11 after this, which unfortunately is not within the mission time frame for that 3-star clear, because that wants us in 10 turns. But I wasn't exactly sure we could do it in 10 turns, so we went an extra one. Based on the damage output of this kill, we might have been able to do it, because we had some excess damage, but I wasn't entirely sure at the time. So, 445 points, turn 11, let's go ahead and start buffing. So we've already used the Blanc skill, don't need to use that again. Let's use the, okay, we're going to do it again anyways, because we're going to buff Velzard probably. And we do have the points for it, so why not? We've used the Aegis effect, we've used, I don't know what that was. Oh, we've used the extra points from Blanc. Okay, that's fine. Alright, so we got 3 ults, boom, boom, and the Frostbite and the stun, and then we're going to go ahead and send this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Velzard does 4.8 million damage, okay. And then Almesia does 15 million damage, so a decent chunk right there. And then Leon follows up with 64-1, which would have been a one-shot. So with that kind of damage output, we could have nuked turn 10 and we could have gotten that mission done. So if you're running this team and you're fairly confident, you can cut a turn out and you could still nuke, because 64 is Millim's health bar. We did an extra almost 20 on top of that between Velzard and Almesia. So there is room to cut turns out. But there is an alternate team that's not the entire full Spirit Master meta that can get the job done. It does require, a lot of new characters. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them to be exact, plus the free-to-play, and then Almesia if you have her. If you don't have Almesia, you can use Fern. I mean, Fern will also do the 100% ult resistance down. That would be fine. But there's nobody else that's going to be able to do that. Alright, a different alternate team, which is still going to have Leon and Velzard, but now no Masked Hero, and also no Ritas, is going to be Commander Renard Protector, who is going to be stacking ult resistance down and weakness strike on our nuking Earth, Mirren, and Leon. So we've got Gobwa for the Pierce, and then the debuffs that she's got, which will be very effective. Light Blanc from Visions of Coleus, because we need an alt-swapping character, and we can benefit off of her own weakness strike buff. The synergy resistance down doesn't matter because we're not running synergy, and it's nerfed anyways. Earth Mirren is our secondary backup character, while giving us access to a heal, and the stat swap, which is actually also Earth Attack. She is skill fused on that skill, so we're actually getting a bit more Earth Attack than normal in a quicker factor, but it doesn't matter because we're going to go like turn 16 here or something. And then Leon and Velzard here for obvious reasons. But this is another team where you are going to be solely focused on blue stacking, and that's about it. So turn 1, we're going to use Leon's Orb Change. We only have Leon now, though, for a converter, which means that if you get some bad RNG on like turn 2, you might as well just reset until you get a triple hand. And thankfully, Catalyst doesn't cost any stamina, so that is a nice thing. But here we do get a 3-orb convert, and pretty much that's what you're going for, is it 3 orbs and move on with your day. So let's do the charm. We are, I believe, once again running the skill point charm on blues for the same reason we did the last team, is that once you get to turn 8, you need to stun, you need to convert, you need to do a few things every turn, you need to make sure you have points. And we are running a bit more of a skill point hungry buff team here, because we got, everyone here has a buff. Everyone here has something that I want to use on the nuke turn, or before the nuke turn, for maximum efficiency, which means we're going to need a bit more skill points, which also means we're going to have to go a bit further than the turn 8. I go a bit too far, just FYI, so you don't have to go as far as I did, but this is just essentially the blue stacking team as it is. We're not even sending like Velzard ults anymore. I don't really want to. We brought a triple alt swapping character in Blanc because I just want to send blue orbs. That's it. So Leon can either stay or he can get out of here, but unfortunately we don't have a good hand, so we are just going to burn out the greens. Because every time that we get an alt, it's a guaranteed blue from Blanc, which means it cuts down on our orb RNG. Because if Leon always converts 3 orbs, and we have 3 alts that can be converted into blues, that means that once you get 3 alts for characters up front, you don't need a different converter. You don't need to reset for orb RNG because you're guaranteed 6 blues. And that was my reasoning here. So we gave up a different orb changer. We're giving up on the Velzard support alts in order to give us guaranteed hands of blues once we get later into the fight. So right here, okay, that's not great. Well, we're getting there. So we've got 5 blues here. We've got another double stack of Renard. Weakness strike up. Alt resistance down, and yeah, we're going to be here for a hot minute. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I believe this does give us both, or all 3 alts, though. Not quite. Okay, but we get pretty good RNG. So we have 2 blues, 2 orbs, 2 alts that are going to be blues, and then we just need to use Leon's convert. And now this will get us the EX alt. So we can take Blanc out of here, we can bring Velzard in if we wanted to, but we'll get the alt for Mirren. We do want her EX ult as well, because she is EX Awakened. If your Mirren is not EX Awakened, then, I mean, she's still going to function as a nuking character, she just won't be nearly as powerful. But the primary nuker here is Leon. So Mirren is just backup damage. So again, you don't need her to be EX Awakened, you don't need her EX ult, but it definitely will help. So boom, alright, cool, we've got this. Let's go ahead and pop the heal for 3 turns, which I do not think is skill fused. So we're not getting anything extra out of it, it is just like the 15% every turn for 3 turns. And then we'll send 6 blues. And then we're gonna cut ahead a bit. This is turn 8, but we did not stun. Did not stun because Velzard is sealed, and she's gonna be sealed again. Thankfully, even if Milim were to heal, like, it's not that big of a deal, because we haven't really taken off any damage off of her to begin with. So I do want to leave Velzard in, because I do want her stun available next turn. So we'll alt swap, we'll orb change, we'll stack again. I've been kind of inconsistent with getting both Mirren and Leon the stacks, but it is what it is. And now it's turn 10. It's about to be turn 10. And there's the heal. Okay, cool, yeah. But she didn't do anything. Even the Lord's Ambition doesn't save her from the stun, which is kind of surprising. I didn't realize that would happen. But now she's stun locked, and now we have literally a butt ton of points, because we're at 528, and we're only using 3 skills, maybe a turn. We're gonna be okay. But we're going to continue stacking, because again, I'm not entirely confident in the damage output for this, because I straight up just didn't know. So, from here on out, it is orb change, alt swap, stun for a couple of turns. So we're gonna cut ahead a little bit. Hold on. Okay, we're on turn 16. She has been stun locked the entire time. It is time to nuke. So let's do the Gobwood Pierce buff that's fully maxed out, 120% down. We'll bring Velzard in. We'll use her Aegis and the stun and frostbite, and then we'll get her out of here. And then we'll bring Mirren in, and now we have enough points to use everything here. So Weakness Strike, Ult, EX Ult, the Stat Swap, the Earth Attack, and the Orb Change, I believe. Because, yeah, that gives us 6, plus another stack of Renard. So, we have all buffs activated. We'll send all 6 orbs. Blanc does 6 million. I didn't think she would do that much, so Mirren comes in, and she drops 64 million by herself, and we still had Leon in the back. So, you didn't need to go to turn 16. Leon, if Mirren's doing 64 million, Leon's doing more than that. So, a bit unnecessary in terms of turn count, but this is a team that can obviously get the job done. And again, if your Mirren is not EX Unbound, like, she's going to have a normal ult, she's not going to do 64, she's going to do, like, 40-something million damage, which is still enough, because then you have Leon coming in, he's dropping a 64 million. So, another team that can do the job, that is not the exact same version. We have some substitutions here. It still does require Leon and Velzard, though. And Gobwa, who's also a fairly new character that you now cannot get. So, good luck. And because I'm just going to rub it in people's faces now, we're going to use units that people can't get anymore. We're going to use the Freerin collab Himmel and the Raphael, which is going to irk some people. I get it, but you got to do what you got to do. So, Himmel, this is an orange team. We know that oranges are nerfed. However, between the protection charm on oranges on Himmel, the 50% protection gauge increase from the Orb Steel with Raphael, and Blanc's 70% orange buff, we can kind of get around that and make it kind of a non-factor. So, Raphael triple Orb Steel, protection gauge buff, attack buff, weakness strike debuff, Velzard again for the stun, for the Aegis, Gobwa, because I just got done using her last turn, Leon to nuke, and then Blanc for, again, her orange buff, the 40 points, and her big-time buff. It's a very, very whale team. Like, these are premium, fairly new characters. So, I'm giving you alternates. I don't expect you to have them all, but if this is something you got, then you can try it out. So, turn 1. We actually don't use Leon's Convert. We're going to just leave it. We're not going to spend any extra points that we need to. We don't need to use it. But we are going to send Raphael to the back. So we're just going to send the 4 blues, call it a day. And then we're going to have 3 orbs for somebody. It doesn't matter who, but Blanc has 3. So Blanc's going away. We can use her buff, the Frostbite, and one use of Gobla's debuffs to kind of get her jump started on her debuff for Pierce. And then with the extra 40 points that we got from Blanc, we can bring Raphael in, we can steal, gives us 6. And then with Himmel, that gives us 6 oranges, which are totally buffed up now from the Charm and Roth and Blanc. And then Leon comes in, and we got his EX ult. Cool. Half the job is done. Half the job is done, and now we just have to build up enough points by turn 8 to actually reliably nuke. Veldor's going to be pretty much up front the entire time. If we can get some ults with her, that will help Leon ult out, because we'll get stacking weakness strike. If you get ults with Raphael, you get weakness resistance down on his debuff, so it goes up to like 150% if you get 5 ults with him. I don't know if you will, but it's certainly something you can try and do. So we have 5 orbs for him. Not a full hand, though, because we didn't actually get another use of Himmel there. So we just kind of did what we had to. That does get an ult for Raphael. But more importantly, it gets us quite a few orbs for Raph. They're all oranges. We're going to steal them again. Go ahead and use the Blanc buff again, because now it's run out and we need to reapply that orange buff. Velzard in Himmel to change that 1 blue orb. And that gives us 6, which will also give us a Velzard ult. Not an EX ult, unfortunately, but very close. And this will be permanent. Permanent weakness strike buff for Leon when we send her. So, thank you for that. Yep. We don't have any healing stuff here. We just have to tank with our faces and pray you live. Nice hand there. We can go ahead and either send it, or we could bring Raphael in and take Velzard out. It's really up to you. But let's use another stack of the Frostbite. Bring Raphael in, and then we can steal again if we have to, which we will. Okay, perfect. Still not a perfect hand for Raph, because it is not a full hand of Raph, but there's one Gobwa orb. But now it's turn 5. Now we can start looking at applying Blanc's buff, now that we have points for it and everything. And we need to buff Leon. We gotta buff Leon in the back. His entire team is focused around doing as much damage as possible with Leon. So we've already actually used the Blanc buff a turn early, 2 turns ago. Never mind, my bad. It's going a bit too fast, right? So we're looking at the buffs. We gotta use Blanc one more time. We're not getting any points back out of it, but it does give us the gauge increase, which is going to be pretty impactful for this turn and next turn. So, bring Velzard in. Okay, cool. Let's use Himmel. Change all these. We're going to send her ult, which will be 25% weakness strike. We're going to get her ult again from these 2 orbs, and that'll give us another ult for her next turn, which will give us another 25% weakness strike. And then on turn 8, we can look at nuking. So, turn 6. Alright, yep, turn 7. We're going to have the whole hand convert right here. Perfect. As long as we have the full 450 points, we have enough points to nuke. Thankfully. So, let's do one more use of Gobwa. Get her very close to being capped out. And that also lasts for 2 turns. So, we can be okay when the Lord's Ambition runs out. Those debuffs will still be there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And turn 8 comes around, and we have 450 points, which is enough to nuke properly here. Plus, we have a few extra ults to hold on to. Gobwa almost dead, though, so again, tanking with our faces. But let's use the Velzard buffs and debuffs here. Boom. That is another stack of the debuffs for Gobwa, which is good. And now she's stunned, so she can't hit us anymore anyways. She can't hurt you anymore. Raphael in. We'll use this. No, actually, we can't use the steal, so we have to use her skill. 110% weakness resistance down, so we've only sent 1 ult with her. But the 70% attack does help Leon. And then Raphael goes away. Goes away. There we go. And then we'll use the buff, the Gobwa buff, which still isn't capped out, so we actually have enough points to use another debuff with Gobwa. And that'll give us to that whole 120% pierce resistance down. And then 2 more stacks of Himmel, so another 40% element buff. And now we have used pretty much every skill in this entire goddamn team. It's time to nuke. It is time to nuke. So, Velzard, ult first because she'll give us more weakness strike. She does 640,000 damage, it's shit. Leon does 55.8 million damage. It is not enough to kill. If we had another Leon orb, we would have killed. But 2.1 million on that orb, so 4 something on this orb, and she has a nut tap of HP left. So if you had 3 Leon orbs, we would have won, but we didn't. Thankfully, we do have 2 ults in the back, who are fairly buffed up, because we used a bunch of skills last turn, and we're going to bank on these getting the job done, because, you know, I don't know how much health she has left over right now. It doesn't look like a lot, though, so we're trying to figure out what buffs are best to use right now. So we'll bring you in, we'll use 1, and we'll use the Pierce, and we're going to pray that these 2 non-element buffs, or type-neutral buff ults are going to work, and thankfully, it does. So, very whale-heavy team. It can get the job done. With a little bit of luck, you can actually do it in 8 turns, but we still got it done within 10 turns, so that's that mission done. So, that's the stacking teams I got for you, and then we'll jump into some cheese. Alright, the final team for you. If you don't have a stacking team and you for some reason have the Sparkle of Youth meta, you can do it. It's gonna take a while, and it's not very fun, but you can do it. Greens are nerfed for 7 turns, and then on turn 8 you can start stunning with Guy, and then greens will no longer be nerfed. And that just means that you have 15-ish turns or something to build up enough Reckoning to actually kill Masayuki. Very important. I don't think Carrion can get this done. I didn't even try the free-to-play Reckoning team, because I just don't have faith in it. You're going to need Masayuki. Free-to-play Isis, that 3-turn green buff is going to be very, very important, because if you combine that all-gauge increase with Yuki's 100% skill point gain, with Hinata's 50% protection gauge, you're actually making back quite a bit of points and quite a bit of protection gauge on nerfed green orbs. So that's very useful. She's kind of important. If you want to bring, like, Veldora from Exalted Champions, you can. If you want to bring Divine General Diablo, you can, but I wouldn't really bring Diablo because he only lasts for 1 turn. So it's nice having a 3-turn buff, so I would just bring Isis. Hinata, going to be useful not only for the Reckoning stacks, but also tanking because of the healing field. We have 3 characters who are on the team that can get that when she's not sealed. That's going to protect us from a lot of damage. Guy is here for the stun after turn 8. That is the only reason he is here. If you want to bring Velzard instead, you totally can. I guess you could bring Albedo if you have her, maybe? But then Yuki, and then Shizu, more orb changing, more stacks of Reckoning. We're not going to watch this entire fight. Let's just go somewhere in here. We're on turn 5 right now. Let's actually turn the speed up a little bit. Okay. So turn 5, the greens are still nerfed. It is what it is. Alts do not matter. We do not do traditional damage, but this is the first turn that Reckoning will apply. The end of turn 5. So for the first couple turns, you're just sending blues and sending greens, doing what you can. And we do, like, what, 3 million damage right there? It's going to take a hot minute. Body and spirit skills are sealed, so we want to leave Hinata up front. Hinata specifically. Guy, he can exist in the back for a while, because we don't need his stun until turn 8. We can let him be. But now, like turn 6, is when you kind of want to start bringing him up front. So the first 7, 5, 6 turns or something, he never sees the light of day. He's fine. But you do want to start stunning on turn 8, because that will just protect you from having the greens resealed, from taking any excess damage, and as long as you have points, then you might as well use as many Reckoning stacks as possible. So we're going to bring Guy in, let him be unsealed, hopefully, in a couple of turns, and then it's just a green orb frenzy after that. So hit, okay, cool, and a hit, and Reckoning does 4.7 million damage now. Remember, she's got 64. But after this turn, Guy is unsealed, so he's going to stay up front. We're going to do whatever we need to as far as orb change is concerned. Hinata is unsealed as well, so we can actually use the healing field and the Reckoning stacks from her skill and the protection gauge increase and all the things that are afforded by the premium Sparkle of Youth characters. So orb change again, the Reckoning stacks. The healing field will only apply to Yuki and Hinata, because Guy's not on those teams. But sending 6, we're getting 107 points back. Okay, we got some gauge for protection. It works, especially when you have Isis and that 50% green gauge increase. It's very, very important you have someone to do that. And thankfully, she only hits Hinata there, which is free Reckoning stacks and also 0 damage. So now, even though we have a protection seal on turn 8, we can stun. And as long as you don't go batshit crazy with points, you can continue to stun. So like right here, I'm not going to do anything except just send some nerfed oranges and get them out of here. Okay. Reckoning 5.8. We're still protection sealed, so let's go ahead and not do anything else again. And, well, maybe we can orb change here. Because we'll make back some points because Masayuki will be unsealed next turn. So let's just go ahead and full convert here, while still maintaining that we need to stun. So we need to have enough points to do that, which thankfully we have exactly enough points to do that. 25 from the orb change, 0 cost, and then Guy comes in, 35 point stun. Boom. Alright, sending 6. And now at this point, we are always going to have enough points because the greens will be unnerfed because Milim can't nerf them again if she's sealed. And then it's just a matter of waiting. So, unsealed Masayuki. Okay, perfect. We can reset everybody here and continue to stun with Guy. So, okay. Low cost. And then somebody comes in. Now, pretty much, you're just forcing Reckoning stacks. Milim can't hurt you anymore. As long as you remember to keep her sealed, that's the most important thing. So Guy can pretty much stay up front the entire time. And he could always have his orb change just reset over and over and over again. So Masayuki, extra 100 points, reset Guy, reapply the stun at 25 cost. Boom. We don't need to use the healing field anymore from Hinata because we're never going to get hit, so there's no point. So you can save yourself 30 points on that. And then we'll just use Yuki's orb change again. And now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turn 10, and Reckoning is now doing how much damage? Like 8 million or something? I can't even see because of the wording. But that's what you're doing. Just continue to stun her, and she will eventually die. And orb change the greens, and do all the buffs, and do all that, and do the Reckoning stuff. So let's cut ahead to turn 13, and this is, I think, the final turn right here, because we've got her stunned once again. Let's go ahead and send 6 greens. We've got a lot of Reckoning stacks now, and I think it does like 10 million or something, which is still not enough. Yeah, 11 million, but at this point, she's dead, because it's 11 million guaranteed, so let's just stun her, and then you could literally send 1 orb here, and it doesn't matter, she's going to die. But the Reckoning team getting the job done in Inferno. And technically it'll work in Dire. Technically. And then there you go. 11.7 million damage. Turn 14. There we go. There are the 4 teams I have for you for Inferno 1 difficulty. It's not very fun. It requires a lot of characters you probably don't have, but here's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Was it actually doable for you? Did this video actually help you, or is it just an exercise in making you have some major FOMO? Let me know in the comments, but that's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.